There's a new poll about Susan Lee's performance as leader of the Liberals, and apparently there are around 30% of people who think she's great. What I'm wondering is, where on earth are these people? I haven't seen a single person, left or right, Liberal, Labor or any other party, who supports her at all. Very odd. Yeah, well, that's the opinion poll in the Sydney Morning Herald, which says Australians have slashed their approval of Susan Lee's performance as opposition leader after a month of Liberal Party instability. Leaks, resignations and sackings in findings that'll pile pressure on the opposition leader and increase speculation about her political future. Just 33% of voters rated Lee's performance as either good or very good, which is a fall of 8% in a single month. And 38% rated a performance as either poor or very poor, up from 32% last month. And, I think a lot of the criticism is about the division within the party, and the resigning from the front bench, sacked, was, of course, Jacinta Price, and then Andrew Hastie stood down so that he could speak freely about all sorts of things. And, boy, didn't he go to town on the weekend. He had quite a bit to say in an email he sent out to his constituents in his electorate in WA, and this is the man who aspires to lead the Liberal Party, but he certainly raised eyebrows with a comment about his enemies. He moved to the backbench earlier this month over a policy rift with Susan Lee. This was on net zero and quite a few things. But he sent out an email on Friday at the end of the first parliamentary sitting week, since he resigned from the shadow ministry, and he told his constituents the week had been a big one. He said, many people have had their say about my resignation from the front bench. I've watched closely as our enemies have unmasked their guns, but silence has been prudent. To quote the great British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, though I sit down now, the time will come when you will hear me, Mr Hastie said in the email. And Liberal frontbencher Julian Leeser, speaking on Sky News, attempted to clarify Andrew Hastie. And of course, Andrew Hastie's a former SAS soldier, but he spoke to Sky News, and this is Julian Leeser saying that he made a big contribution and still has a big contribution to make.
What I will say about Andrew is that he's got a big contribution to make. He'll continue to make it, as do all of our colleagues, because what we need to do between now and the next election is to hold this government to account, to demonstrate to people that we'll provide a real alternative based on our values, and every member of Susan's team will be doing that, whether they're on the front bench or the back bench.
Well, what do you make of this email he sent out? I've watched closely as our enemies have unmasked their guns. Is that helpful to Susan Lee?
I can only suspect he's talking about the Labor Party, or about ISIS, or about, the enemies of Western civilisation. I'm sure that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that was Julian Leeser speaking on Sky News yesterday, trying to qualify what Andrew Hastie said. Many people have had their say about my resignation. I've watched closely as our enemies have unmasked their guns, but silence has been prudent. To quote the great British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, though I sit down now, the time will come when you will hear me, Andrew Hastie said in that email. Yeah, interesting. But the man who aspires to be the Liberal leader certainly has quite a bit to say, and he's put all sorts of very interesting little films up on his Instagram. Including about, car production here in Australia, net zero, immigration. Of course, he said he feels like a stranger in his own country because of the number of immigrants to Australia. Mark's emailed in on the Liberal Party. Mark's a real Labor lover.